Welcome everyone, it's Mary with Happy Pine Soap. Today we're going to do a gorgeous spin swirl in cold process soap. These are all of the wonderful colors that I used, and as you can see, they're all from Mad Micas. For all of the colored micas, with the exception of Snow White, I used 1/2 teaspoon of mica. And then for our Snow White, I used a bit more. I used 1 teaspoon of it. That's to keep our batter nice and bright. Sweet almond oil was used for our lightweight oil. I used 1/2 tablespoon for all of the colors and 1 tablespoon for our Snow White. Our fragrance today is a very well-behaved fragrance from Brambleberry, and I use their calculator, and I'll be putting in that strong amount shown here since this is a 4-pound batch. I got this lovely little Lazy Susan. It's a small one. I got it on Amazon, and it's perfect for spinning our mold, which creates the gorgeous spinning designs that you see in the soap. For this design, you want to soap at low temperatures, so both my oils and my lye are at 89 degrees Fahrenheit. I've included my super fluid recipe at the end of the video also, so that you can try this design out yourself. Go ahead and carefully pour your lye solution into your oils, and we will only blend this for just a few seconds. You don't want to overblend because, again, we're trying to keep it fluid. I ended up blending this for a total of 10 seconds. I did 5 seconds, and then I paused and kind of checked it out and did it for another 5 seconds. Now you're ready to add the fragrance. Thank goodness this one behaved beautifully, unlike the last one I did a couple of weeks ago that riced on me horribly. Thank goodness Brambleberry is well known for their fragrance qualities, and for the most part, I really haven't had too many surprises with their fragrances. Go ahead and stir it in by hand carefully. And then we will portion off our batter into 5 separate containers for each one of our colors. Each one of our colors gets approximately 13 ounces of soap batter, give or take, a little bit. It doesn't really matter too much, but around 13 ounces will get you there pretty well. And then we will blend in by hand each one of our micas that have been pre-blended with that lightweight oil. You'll see me adding that here. And I will note that I added a little bit of extra charcoal. I had some leftover charcoal, activated charcoal, and so I poured it into this one just to make it a nice deep black color. So yeah, charcoal is going to be your go-to if you want a really deep, rich black, basically. So yeah, it's one of my favorites to use for that striking, strong black color. And here is an example of the gorgeous blue that we used. You can see that the batter is remaining a gorgeous light trace. That's when you can barely see any of the trailings on top, and they just kind of sit there nice and light. So yeah, this is my favorite recipe because the batter behaves itself so incredibly well, and I've had no surprises with this recipe, so I really hope you enjoy it. And then to start, you're going to go ahead and put your mold on top of that Lazy Susan. And you want to kind of wall pour down the corners. And essentially, I decided to do all 5 colors and kind of layer them one on top of the other, and then turn it around and do the other corner. You'll see I took it off of the Lazy Susan briefly, but then I decided to put it back on. But yeah, basically just start to layer in your colors, and you'll do that all the way till basically you get to the end of all of your batter. And then you'll see in the next step will be the gorgeous swirling fun. I almost forgot to mention, I counted to about 5 seconds for each pour. Sometimes I lengthened it just a little bit, but mostly around 5 to 7 seconds each time I poured the batter. That way the colors were all pretty uniform. As soon as you are done pouring, go ahead and make sure to shake your mold down really well to prevent any air bubbles. And then you'll see that I popped a few air bubbles that came to the surface with this sharp tool. And once you're ready, you could get it on your Lazy Susan and we will be ready to start spinning. Now, when you spin, you don't want to go so fast that you slosh your batter out. That would be a disaster. But you definitely need to go fast enough that the colors move, basically. So it's kind of a balance between fast and not too fast, if you get my drift. So yeah, let's take a look at how this turned out. It took quite a few swirls before I was happy with it. Now, to try and prevent soda ash, I went ahead and covered the top with plastic wrap. I also oven processed this at the lowest temperature. That's 170 degrees for my oven. Make sure you turn your oven off, go in and put your soap in, and then you can leave it there for a few hours with the oven off and the light on. Here is a funny outtake. I was trying to show you the finished soap after it was done oven processing, and Murphy decided to make an appearance. So here was take two after I had to retake it. And as you can see, the oven processing does a beautiful job of making the soap harden a little faster. So now on to the cut. I went ahead and turned this entire loaf on its side, and I cut it into 3-inch slabs, basically, because this is going to be a lot easier to handle smaller little bits of soap than that entire slab. And one by one, as you see here, I'm passing it through at that 3-inch mark. And then what I'm going to do is turn them each now on their, side or right side up. And I'm going to cut them into 2-inch bars. And then from the 2-inch bars, I will cut in half into 1-inch individual soap, basically. I almost forgot to mention that I oven processed it for about 5 hours. I took it out and essentially I let this sit on the counter overnight. So this soap was pretty easy to cut almost 24 hours later, but I really could have left it even for another maybe half day more, so maybe closer to 48 hours, just because the edges were a little soft. So yeah, that was the only bummer, is that some of the edges got a little bit messed up just from how soft they were. But overall, I'm not too displeased with how easy it was to handle. Sometimes these really liquid or fluid soap recipes can be really hard to cut because they stay soft for longer periods of time. So I would say for this super soft fluid recipe, go ahead and wait that full 48 hours if you can before cutting. That should give you enough time to still be able to cut it without breaking your wire cutter, but also where it's not, getting damaged by your fingers. And another thing I wanted to note is normally when I'm showing you videos, I like to bevel my bars and do a lather test, but this soap was too soft to bevel, so I'll have to wait till next week to bevel it. I probably will also have to steam the tops of it because it probably will have some soda ash. Soda ash, again, is just that harmless interaction of carbon dioxide in the air that interacts with the soap as it's saponifying. That first 24 to 48 hours is really when your soap is finishing saponifying. So that's typically when soda ash forms. So I probably will have some ash when I come back next week and check them out. But that's okay. I think what I'll do for the next video is I'll show you how to steam bars of soap so that they have that beautiful, glossy, professional finished look. And I'll bevel them as well. And I'll even do a lather test so you can see how well this particular recipe performs. So there you go, guys. Isn't this just absolutely stunning? Oh my goodness. One of my favorite techniques is the spin swirl. I have just never been disappointed with how these turn out. They are so incredibly beautiful. So yeah, I hope you guys really enjoyed this tutorial. I'll show you the recipe next, which you can see it here. And if you try it out, feel free to drop me a comment. Would love to hear how it turned out for you guys. And as always, I so enjoy seeing you guys every week, and I look forward to seeing you all in the next soapy tutorial. Take care, everyone. Have a great weekend.